Hey everyone, what's going on? It's me, David,
I'm Lucas.
and we're back with another episode of Tech Time. Hooray! It's been a little bit, like a couple weeks, but it's okay because we're back now. And today we have a pretty good show. We're talking about Microsoft's upcoming event, a streaming service by a company you probably would never guess. We're going to recap the Apple event and talk about some other stuff. So let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about my app of the week first, which I
Okay.
don't believe I've actually talked about. Were you going to say something?
Hmm? No.
Oh, we're gonna talk about my app of the week, which I honestly can't believe I don't think I've talked about this before, but it's like my favorite app ever. It's called Google Photos, and the reason why I love it is because it's amazing. It backs up all your photos online to the cloud, and you can just delete them off your phone, and you have so much free space then. And the other thing that I love about it is that it groups all your photos by faces as well. So, you can look at everyone's faces, like all pictures you've taken, like they all get grouped into different people's faces. And the other cool thing is you can also search for things like sunset or tree or, chair or hat or sunglasses, anything. Anything you want, you can search for, and it'll bring all that stuff up. It's crazy how smart it is. It's actually pretty scary. And the accuracy it gets in faces is also scary. Like, it knows every one of my friends, and it's weird because it's like, how did he, like, even awkward photos where their face is really small, or you can barely, like, tell that it's them. It knows. Like, it's so weird. It barely ever, like, mixes people up. It's crazy. So, I mean, I love it. I
Yeah.
think it's amazing.
It's weird because I'll go into the app one day and then the little assistant on the side will bring up like either like it made an animation one time from a group of pictures that I took of someone like moving their head, and it put it into like an animation already.
Oh, it's
Like,
crazy.
yeah, I took a picture of like a scenery, and then like it enhanced it. It put like this like all these filters on it. It made it look pretty. It made it look cool.
And the other cool thing that it can do as well is make like videos for you, which is like awesome. Like it makes these videos and they look so cool. Now, one of my favorite, and I think the best thing about this app is that all the storage you get in the cloud is unlimited and free. It does compress the files a little bit, but if you go on the computer on the website and you download the file directly, it's not compressed. It's only compressed when you're actually playing it, or like a video, for example, only gets compressed when you're actually playing it in Google, like the app or on the web. If you download the full thing, it actually downloads in full quality, which is great. Like if you
Yeah,
upload, like for example, it doesn't support 4K video, but if you upload a 4K video and then you download it even months later, it's still 4K once you fully download it though. And like you might be thinking, well, this is crazy. It must be too good to be true. Well, the way that Google is making their money is that, getting all this information by scanning for different things in your photos, they get information on you and they get to offer better ads and stuff to you. But honestly, I don't even care. It's well
hmm
worth it.
yeah. They could also use your pictures for like advertisement stuff like that, or somebody
No, no, they don't
could
have.
they?
No, they can't. They can't just take your photos and use them. That's like a violation of privacy. People, I think
I
that's a
don't know,
common misconception of a lot of things. People think that they can do that. They cannot do that.
because there's a talk about that. Like people like on Instagram when you post your photos on Instagram, like like they now have like control over it, right? Because you're not really paying for the you know for
Well,
this for them to like protect it, right?
yeah, but that was also there was a lot of confusion with that too. Like, it didn't exactly mean that your photos were going to be used. It meant that in theory they could be, but a lot of the times they weren't actually used. Like, it was just kind of a technicality that they had to put that in there. They don't actually, it doesn't mean they're actually going to use them, and they don't use them. Like, I've never heard about issues of people's photos being used in ads. But
hmm
I think it was just they had to put it in the terms and conditions, but it didn't actually mean that they were going to do that. But I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but I mean,
And you know what? Now, actually, we should probably talk about it. Speaking of Instagram, there's all this talk now about they're changing their feed.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So basically, I just want to say, for all of you people that are freaked out and scared, don't worry. You're still going to see everyone's photos and everyone's still going to see your pictures. Because let me tell you, when people do Instagram checks, they don't just check the first 5 pictures. A lot of the time, I'm pretty sure you guys are checking the whole feed. Maybe you go 24 hours back. You look at a whole day or a half a day. And in that case, you don't have to worry because all your things are still going to be shown. It's just a different order. That's all. You don't have to freak out. And the thing is, I actually am happy about this because the problem is, a lot of the time I go on Instagram and I gotta scroll through all this garbage and I end up missing posts from people I care about because they're just buried in all this other stuff that I end up scrolling through. But now, if you see the stuff that you like the most at the top, then you see your most important stuff first, and you don't have to go through your feed for like so long in order to find people you like. Sorry, my throat is a little bit weird today. But what I'm saying is like, that's one of the big problems I have with Instagram is I follow so many people that I'm always having to, scroll down to see people's posts that I actually care about, but now it's going to know to put them at the top because those are the pictures I like and stuff. You get it? So I'm
That's how it
actually
works.
happy about this, but I know a lot of people are not.
Yeah, some people are still a little bit confused on what's going on with that whole update.
Which I don't blame them. This stuff can
hmm
be very confusing.
Yeah. Okay, so is that it for your app of the week
Basically it.
spiel? Okay. Okay, so guess I'll touch on the Oculus Rift now. It's actually being released to people who pre-ordered it. So they're starting to ship them out now as people order them, as people have ordered them. So as of right now, you can't pre-order it anymore. There's only a limited number of people who could pre-order it, but they are gonna open up another pre-order session is in the around the summer, and then they'll have a selection of people who can pre-order them. They do it because they don't have enough money to mass produce it, right? So they make an order, but it's gonna take like probably a month for them to build it.
Mm-hmm.
So it can take a long time. But yeah, so now moving on to the Microsoft event. So it's actually happening tomorrow. I didn't find out until today. They're pretty famous anyway. Um, yeah, some things to expect. Windows. It's called the Microsoft Build 2016 conference. So they're gonna introduce some Windows 10 features. Some new Windows 10 features. So they're not gonna release a whole new update like Apple does every year. Windows usually does it every 4 years, 5 years,
Yeah, about that.
around there. And it only makes sense because then you start to add new features and then people get confused, right?
Mm, Like, basically my parents, my
Yeah,
grandparents,
yeah.
anybody that's not young.
Like Windows 8 was like a huge jump in
Oh,
those
don't even
those
get me started. The tech support calls I was getting from my family. Oh my god.
terrible. Okay, terrible. But there's supposed to be some pretty big improvements with Windows 10, and they're hinting a surprise in Windows 10. It's supposed to be this new feature that's supposed to freak everyone out. And then the
Well, I'm
next big,
excited about that.
well, it's probably going to be linked to HoloLens, which is going to be probably the biggest thing they're going to talk about.
I love
Uh,
HoloLens.
it says that they're going to send out development kits this week to developers, so you can expect to hear a lot about them pretty soon. And they're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft Office and in the cloud. So if you guys don't,
Whatever.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty expensive too. Like, if you ask me, I think Office is a waste of money. Like, I was in the Microsoft store. It's 700. What was it? $300 for the entire program with everything.
No thanks. I'm
Like
good
it
with
was,
my
no, it
Google
was.
Drive and my Apple Pages, which I guess is not
Hmm.
free. But honestly, Google Drive is amazing. OpenOffice is also pretty good if you
Yeah,
want an actual downloaded program. There's really no reason to have Microsoft Office anymore. Sorry.
exactly. And I don't. I predict that they're not going to talk a lot about Windows Phone anymore.
Mm,
In fact,
wow, wow, wow.
it's coming to its death. It looks like because their sales have been so bad. The
Yikes.
Yeah, it says the sales have numbered for all Lumia plummeted 57% in the recent quarter.
Well, no need to keep that around.
Yeah, it's just it's a waste of money for them to keep on producing these things, right?
Exactly. Especially because they have such a big hand, I think, in the way that the hardware is built too.
Yeah, like the operating system, like I hate using it. Like going to the store and using it,
Yeah,
it's
I would agree with
it's a
that.
it's a disaster.
The thing is, it's actually a nice operating system for some things. It's got a unique design and everything. It's just not very practical,
Hmm.
and it doesn't have a lot of apps. Which, sure, I mean, that's really what makes an operating system these days. Does it have apps? That's what people want. We want apps,
Hmm.
right? That's what we want. Apps are what makes the phone capable of doing so much. And I know people will say,
Yeah.
well, who cares if it has apps or not? I don't download a lot of apps. But you gotta understand, if there was no, like, an app, a simple app can transform your phone into something so big. You get a
Hmm.
scanner app on your phone. All of a sudden, you can throw out your $300 scanner. You don't need that anymore. Seriously.
Exactly.
The cameras on these phones are so good, and the scanning apps are so good, you can't even tell the difference. I've
Hmm.
taken scans on my phone and printed them, and you cannot tell the difference from the original sheet. It's crazy. Apps really do transform what the phone can do. So I do understand why apps are very important.
Yeah, the library is it's just not up to date
And it
with like.
never was. It's not there,
Hmm.
and it never was, and it never will be because they were not quick enough
Hmm.
to the game. You know, everyone else was already there before them.
Obviously, nobody likes the phone. There's just no point in producing these things. Like it's not what Microsoft's known for, right?
Right.
But yeah, that seems to be it for what they're going to talk about Microsoft Build.
All right, that's good. Nice developer stuff that we should
Hmm.
see.
Yeah,
Especially the HoloLens. I love the HoloLens. I
yeah.
cannot
I
wait
can't
for
wait to
that.
hear what they're going to do with the Hololens.
It's crazy. I mean, they're talking about some mind-blowing feature. That thing already blew my mind. How can it blow my mind even more? I'm gonna be
I know.
scared, man.
Like, what's it gonna do? Like,
Like, is this thing gonna like have its own like thoughts? Like,
they're probably gonna make it like Jarvis from Iron Man.
or
That would be cool.
is this HoloLens just gonna like, is it gonna like transform into like I don't know some other thing? Like, come on, man. Honestly, I feel like it's so incredible that that's the only thing that would surprise me. Or is it gonna be like you look at somebody that's face recognition, like it knows who you're looking at? That would be actually so scary.
That'd be something a lot of teachers would use
Team
first day
up
of
with
school.
Google. No, here's what they should do. Here's what Microsoft should do. Team up with Google, right?
Hmm.
Use Google Photos data,
Yeah.
and then they can access everyone's face, and then bam, it'll have everyone. Because so many people use it. Perfect. Great.
Yeah. No.
You're welcome, Microsoft.
The school's already linked with Google Classroom, so it just makes sense.
Exactly. Anyways, so that's good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so the next thing we were going to talk about was this mine?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
yours.
I was like, why aren't you saying anything? um, so now we're gonna recap the Apple event. Okay, let's get started. So, recently, about what, a week ago, a week and a half ago, Apple had an event and they released a new iPhone and a new iPad. Those were the big things from the event, and some new Apple Watch bands, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. People were freaking out originally when they heard that there was a new iPhone. What? The iPhone 7 came out already? No, 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 no. This
No.
was an iPhone SE, which basically what they did was they took all the features of the 6S and they put it in a smaller form factor. While this may not seem like a big deal, here's what I love about this. They're taking the highest end components from the highest end phone and putting it in the lowest end phone and keeping the price low. It's incredible. Okay, so I did some numbers. I ran some numbers. Let me just pull them up because I do not have them at the moment. I had some prices. Okay, so an iPhone 6S, we're going to be talking Canadian prices just because that's what I know. So in Canada, the iPhone 6S costs $899 unlocked, right? So that's the unlocked price of an iPhone 6S, 16 gigabyte. Okay, $899.
Okay.
So basically $900. An iPhone SE, which has basically all the same features as the 6S, except it's smaller, is $579 unlocked for 16 gig. Okay? That is a huge difference.
It's a huge difference, all that, and basically a 5S. It's the size. It's basically they took the 5S, they took all the internals out, they put the 6S stuff in there, and they called it an iPhone SE. That's
Okay,
basically what they
the
did.
iPhone SE has the A9 processor from the 6S, blazing fast. The 12 megapixel camera from the 6S, super crystal clear, live photos as well, front facing flash, 4K video. They put in Apple Pay. Okay, all this crazy stuff, and for such a low price. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
okay, I know $579 is not a low price, and in the States it's, what was it, $399? I
yeah
know that
around,
doesn't
yeah
seem
300.
like that low, but honestly, for an unlocked phone, it is pretty low. Now, here's what you're giving up for the iPhone SE that Apple didn't talk about. The iPhone SE does not have a barometer, which tracks height, so like if you're doing stair runs, for example, it won't know that. It doesn't have 3D touch. Honestly, I can tell you personally, and from a lot of people I know that have the 6S as well, you'll never use 3D touch ever. You'll always forget to use it. The 6S, the SE doesn't also, it also doesn't have a 5 megapixel front facing camera. It has a 1.2 megapixel, which is not terrible, but obviously not as good. And it also has the first version of Touch ID, not the second one, so it doesn't have that super blazing fast Touch ID, but you know what? Still faster than a password. Now, here's the thing. Might sound like a good amount of things, but honestly, that stuff is, I would not say, worth spending the extra money if you don't care about the bigger size. If you don't care about the bigger size, honestly, that stuff is not worth spending so much more money. It's not. This phone is great, the SE. I can't believe Apple is doing this. Like, honestly, here's the thing. When we were talking about rumors for the SE, I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the podcast. I think I did. I was basically saying, I have no idea where Apple could fit this into their pricing scheme, because if they make it cheaper than a 6, but it has higher specs than a 6, then that's crazy. No one's going to want to buy the
Yeah.
6. But I was thinking, they can't make the 6 the least expensive and make the SE the 6 price point, and they can't keep the 6 and the SE the same price and then keep the 5S, because then there's 4 different models and they're not going to want to do that. So I was like, there's no way that they could put this at the price of a 5S with a 6S specs in it. But could you believe it? They did. I cannot, it's crazy that they did this.
I didn't expect them to put that processor in there though, like to make it as fast as it is.
And the 12 megapixel as well.
hmm
Are you kidding me? It's crazy.
I mean, it has the same power as the 6S, but because the screen size is so small, it's actually even more powerful than the 6S. So it's actually the most powerful phone that Apple's produced today.
That's true, because there's a smaller screen, so less pixels to draw. And
hmm
the other thing is it also has better battery life.
hmm
This is great. It's amazing. The other thing is they also released a new iPad. Instead of calling the iPad Air 3, they called it the iPad Pro, but it's just a different size. So it's basically like the iPad Air 2, but it's like just calling it an iPad Pro. And I think the reason for that is because it supports the Apple Pencil, and so I think they want to keep that to the Pro line. So, anyways, it's pretty good. It's like what we'd expect. A9X processor, the new things that they brought to the iPad Pro, basically, like that new connector. It does work with the pencil, all that stuff. But the other thing is, it also has, that the 13-inch iPad Pro doesn't have, is a 12 megapixel camera and a new True Tone display, which basically slightly adjusts the color of the screen based on the lighting conditions that you are in, so that it's good on the eyes. And while we're talking about this, Night Shift, a new feature in iOS 9.3 that came out recently, actually came out the same day as the keynote. So, iOS 9.3 adds Night Shift, so basically it'll shift the screen to warmer colors later at night so that it helps you fall asleep. And you can password protect notes. And there's some more 3D touch stuff if you're someone with a 6S, who cares? And then there's some other stuff that I don't really remember, and it's not important to talk about. So, yeah, just a recap if you haven't already got it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
We're moving on.
Vizio TV. Tell us.
So Vizio is changing the game just a little bit. So their new P-Series TV now comes with an Android tablet. It's a Google tablet made by Vizio, and it's running Android Lollipop. The TV starts today at $99, basically $1,000 American. I don't know what it is Canadian, but it's basically a normal TV, and they basically integrated a Chromecast into it. And what's cool is it interacts with the Android tablet itself, so it's always connected. So you can use the tablet like a normal tablet. You can sit on your couch. It has a headphone jack, so you can watch YouTube on your couch or in your bedroom. You can take it wherever. You can use it like a normal tablet, right? But what also do is act like your media remote. So if you want to look up a movie or anything, you do it on your tablet and then you stream it right to your TV. So you don't need to use your remote and look through the menus on the TV and keep on, like using that arrow pad, right, to flip through the different movies. You can just search it up on your tablet and find it that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier and so much simpler. But what's cool is when you dock it, it brings up the TV's remote. So you never lose it, you never have to find it. And what's also good is the TV also does come with an external remote too. So in case the tablet dies or whatever, you can just use the regular remote. So the TVs come in 50-inch, 60-inch, and 75-inch. So whatever fits your...
What do you recommend is the best TV size? Do you think bigger is always better for TV?
It all depends on where you're putting it, because I mean, like me personally, I like a big TV. So I mean, like for me, sky's the limit. The bigger, I want it as big as I can get it in my room or wherever I'm putting it. But some people like it smaller so it can fit in like a better space. And sometimes a bigger TV, it stands out too much in the room, and it kind of takes over the look that some people are trying to want to get, right? But I mean, even like the 75-inch TVs, like those things are huge, right? I mean, like unless you have like a big room, it almost seems like doesn't really seem reasonable, right? Unless you're in a big room, right? Then of course you'd want the biggest TV possible, right? But if you're in a small room, I mean, you'd be fine with like a 50-inch or like a 55 or a 60-inch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those would be your best bet. So I guess this will lead me to my next thing. So some streaming services that come with that are on the TV. So you get Hulu, Crackle, uh, Netflix, obviously. You get and Amazon streaming service. You get
Amazon Video, is that what it's called, I believe?
yeah. There's Amazon Videos. There's Google Movies and TV shows. So their streaming service. And then Crackle. I think I said Crackle already.
Yeah.
And then what's also cool about it is it integrates Walmart's Voodoo. I was gonna I was gonna talk about this before, but I'll talk about it now. So basically, Walmart is basically owns a streaming company. It's called Voodoo,
Can I just
and it
say, like, can we just think about that for a second? Walmart owns a streaming service.
so
Where did this come from?
this is
Like,
the Walmart of streaming services.
no, but like, who came up with this? To have Walmart make a streaming service? I'm confused.
Yeah, and it's got everything. I mean, it's HD. You can get movies in HD. And if you go on the website, it's pretty ghetto. If you go on like I'm on the website right now, it's pretty ghetto. It's got all the movies plus bonus features.
Why is that ghetto?
No, like I'm saying the website's like a little like ghetto.
Oh,
Like
it
it's
doesn't look
not.
professional.
Yeah, like it's. But I mean, like the movies are in HD, right? Some movies even come with bonus features. You can rent it or own it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's got everything,
The
right?
website looks nice. I don't really think it looks ghetto.
Mm,
Oh, actually, a little bit.
just a
Like
little
all
bit.
those the fact that it's like everything's black and then there's like red and orange. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, well, I don't want to say it has full seasons of shows, but if I bring up one right now, let me try and search for one of the popular ones. Big Bang. If I look up Big Bang Theory, well, it doesn't even have Big. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it has Big Bang Theory. All the seasons.
Wow, that's crazy. Seems like it could be pretty good. Seems promising.
Yeah. And it's only the episodes are only $2.99 each.
But is it a streaming service or like you just buy them from it?
Well, it's a
That's
streaming
the same as
service, but
iTunes. Like you could buy them
yeah,
off
like
iTunes.
yeah, like you can buy like some movies, but like even with like on my Apple TV, like you can't rent everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like some of this Big Bang Theory, like the Big Bang Theory stuff, you have to buy it to watch it. You can't stream it. So it's not. So it's not really something that like you pay monthly for. It's like something like iTunes where you have to like buy or rent the the show you want to watch. It's something like that. But I just find it crazy how Walmart actually has a streaming service.
Oh. All right. Well, is that all you have to say about that?
That's all I gotta say.
So now that leads us into our last story. Basically, we talked, I think, was it last episode or was it the episode before? I don't remember, but we talked about Apple versus the FBI. That was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Still is. Basically, what happened just very recently is the FBI was able to hack in to the iPhone by themselves without Apple. Well, using another company. Basically, the FBI got into that iPhone and they dropped the court case with Apple, which honestly I'm happy about because it means that Apple doesn't have to make their own back door or anything. But what's weird about this is that the FBI didn't release any information. They just said, you know what, we had somebody help us hack it. They didn't state if the hack works on other phones, how they did the hack, if they're going to be using it. Like, there's so many questions still.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, it might seem like it's over, but it's really not over. That was just a little update I wanted to give on the story. And obviously, we'll keep you updated for any other information regarding Apple and the FBI, because that's honestly a really serious thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big deal. It's not just like any other tech story, you know? And I hope that everything goes well, because I like having security.
Mm-hmm.
Privacy, I should say.
Apple's off the hook now, but
Well, are they though? Because now they got to figure out how this company hacked into their phones.
yeah.
You know what? I'm just happy that Apple didn't have to create a backdoor. That would be a lot worse. So,
Mm-hmm. They were never gonna do it though.
well, oh, for sure, no. For sure, they were never going to unless they had to.
Could the government actually do that though? Like actually
If
force
it
them to
went
do
to
it?
if it went to the Supreme Court and then they made them do it, that would be then they would have
Mm-hmm.
to, yeah. But it's very likely it wouldn't pass in the Supreme Court. But you
Mm-hmm.
never know, right? Crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm kind of tired tonight. Feel
Yeah, I
like I'm
know.
a little bit off my game, but anyways.
I, j- I just went for a run before this. I'm beat.
We still wanted to make an episode for you guys, even if
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit tired and can't formulate my words properly, but
Mm-hmm.
anyways, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, guys, it's been a good episode. Thanks for listening, and
Yeah, and we should be back soon, and just keep in touch with keep up to date with the tech news, at least try to. It's very important. It's where our world's going.
mm-hmm.
Anyways, talk to you guys soon. Have a
Yeah.
nice day or whatever, whenever you're listening to this. And you can listen to us on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio, bunch of places, SoundCloud. Just search up Tech Time with Lucas and David and you should find it. Alright.
All
See
right.
ya, everyone.
Bye, guys.